Did you know that your non-dairy creamers that you might be using in your coffee or tea every morning actually contains some animal byproducts? Or that gelatin is an animal byproduct that's found in things like marshmallows? Because there's an increase in the amount of people choosing a vegan lifestyle, I think it's important for us to understand what veganism is, who's doing this, and why people are making this choice. So, according to the Vegan Society, the way they define veganism is someone whose way of life seeks to exclude any exploitation and cruelty to animals as far as possible and practical. So, someone who is vegan doesn't visit zoos or places like SeaWorld that exploit animals. They also eat a plant-based diet, so they're not consuming animal products or animal byproducts. But like they said, it's as far as possible and practical. So if there's a medication that's needed or something along those lines, that can be consumed as long as there's no alternative. So, knowing a little bit about what veganism is, who is doing this? According to Report Buyer, who is one of the largest market research companies in the world, about 6% of US consumers identify themselves as vegan. That doesn't sound like a whole lot, but that's an increase from 2014 where it was reported only 1%. And if you look at the US census, that's about 20 million people, 6%. So it's a lot more than you would naturally assume. And that kind of leads us to why are people doing this, right? So I think the most obvious reason most people start to decide to go into this lifestyle is for animal welfare. The ASPCA did a poll, and they say that 94% of Americans feel that animals that are farmed for human consumption should live a cruelty-free life and live a good life. But based on the way animals are actually treated in these environments, those same 94% of people would not find the way these animals are being treated acceptable. And that also has to do with our health. So these animals aren't being treated very well, so it kind of brings up the curiosity of how is their health affecting my health, right? So according to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, they found that the way that meat is being processed today, red meat is a contributor to type 2 diabetes. And the World Health Organization has also found that processed meat is a cause of cancer. NPR had a really good article regarding this, and they pointed out that processed meats are actually in the same risk factor for cancer as things like tobacco products and asbestos. So from things like that, it's pretty clear as to why someone would maybe make this change for health reasons. And another big reason is for the environment. The World Atlas reported that the US is actually the second biggest contributor to climate change in the world. And the USDA, when reporting on this in their climate change science plan, they stated that the management of greenhouse gases, particularly from animal agriculture, needs to be addressed because it's one of our top contributors to those greenhouse gases. So different people have different reasons for making this lifestyle change. And so today we talked about veganism. And I'm hoping that walking away today, you'll have a good understanding of why people are choosing veganism, who those people are, and what veganism is. Humans have been consuming animal products for as long as we can remember. But as our population increases and we're using more and more animal products, do you think that is something that we could possibly sustain?